Hey y'all, happy Sunday. What's going on? What's going on? Let me let my cat out the room. Hold on just a second. All right, I'm back. Whew. So, we're going to be talking about quite a bit today. I'm going to give people some time to get on. Oh, darn, I should have used the bathroom. Dang, I came in here too quick. Oh, well, now I got to wait. Let me see. I'll check my phone. Hmm, Excuse me. Hmm. Hey, Denise, how are you? I am doing well. I'm doing well. I'm a little sleepy because I got up early today. I got my nails done. You like, it's supposed to be a sparkly one. You can't really tell, huh? And then I have a heart, and then my thumbs have a little something there. So yeah, I'm sleepy already. Got up early, 8, and now I'm ready to go to bed. But I really wanted to come on this evening and talk to y'all about my topic because it is an important one. I mean, all my topics are important, but this one is just something that I really wanted to talk about tonight. Hi, Ronnie. Welcome. Oh, it's 8:30, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself and we're going to jump on into our topic for tonight. So my name is Bergeau. I am the owner of BLE's Notary Services as well as the Notary Education Group. And every Sunday, I come live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk to you guys about notary and business related tips and topics and such. And then also here to answer you guys' questions in real time. All right. So for tonight, we're going to be talking about certificates, journals, workflow, communication, and more. Just some notary tips. And I always forget to bring up my talking topics. I like having my talking topics because it helps me stay on track because I'll start talking and then get all off of what I was trying to tell you guys. All right. All right. So, first, I want to talk to you guys about notary blocks and certificates because I have no idea why this keeps becoming a difficult thing for notaries, but it is. And so, the notary certificate or the notarial block is required in order for you to apply your signature and stamp to a document, guys. I had a dual signing, okay? And if you're not familiar with what a dual signing is, it is when two people sign with two different notaries, okay? So the first notary met with the signer that I did not meet with and notarized the document. The document did not have any notarial wording on it at all, but the Florida notary signed the document and stamped it anyway. Wait, did she even sign it? I don't even think it was a signature on there. They just put their stamp there. And the document, it said notary stamp required. So the notary just stamped the document as is. So guys, look, if you have a document that is being asked to be notarized, you need to make sure the document is compliant. Okay? The document is not compliant if it doesn't have notary verbiage on it. All right? It basically, what does the notary verbiage do? It basically tells the receiving party what took place, okay, during the authenticating of the document by the notary. It tells where you were located when you notarized the document, the date that you notarized the document, who whose name you verify in signature you're authenticating. Did they appear before you in physical presence, like in person, or did they appear before you online? And then it also tells what type of ID they produced, and then your signature is required with your stamp, and then your printed name under your signature. Now, this is for Florida, okay? And in our state statutes, it says that we cannot acknowledge or put somebody under oath if we don't have on the document that we're signing and notarizing any notary verbiage to say what took place. Okay, so we are not supposed to just stamp a document. That's not how that works. You have to attach a loose certificate if you have one, or if you have enough room, which there was plenty of space on the document. The document was notarized online. Okay, so there was plenty of space for you to type in a notary certificate, okay, whether it be an acknowledgement or a jurat, and you ask the signer which one they prefer. How do they choose? You explain to them the difference between the two. You also want to make sure you let them know, because I get this question all the time. Well, which one is better? It doesn't matter which one you choose. Neither is better than the other, but because I cannot choose, you must select one. You want the acknowledgement or the jurat. They'll select one, and then you'll put it on the document. If the client gave you the document so that you can meet with the signer, you can call the client and ask them, hey, I see that you're missing some notary verbiage on this document you want me to notarize. What do you want me to put on it? Do you want me to put a jurat or a acknowledgement? All right. But in any case, we cannot notarize the document without it. All right, guys, so stop doing that. Okay. Hi, Michael. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Stop notarizing documents without having that notary verbiage and notarial block on there, okay, guys? Now, do I have anybody who is listening or watching me right now who does not know what a notary certificate looks like? Because I will be happy to show you. I have plenty of sample documents in my library, and I can just pull one up and show you what I mean by having to make sure that notary verbiage is there. Okay, and it goes by different names. You got the notary verbiage, notary block, notary certificate. Okay, but it has to be present in order for you to sign and seal. Okay, guys. So please stop notarizing documents and not having that there. Okay. Oh, Michael says please do. Okay, let me pull up my library and I will show you guys what I'm talking about. Because I think I do. I think I have a document in there that doesn't have an that verbiage, and I have one that does. So give me a second to pull that up. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm going to pull up a sample seller's package. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. So this is a warranty deed. All right. If you scroll down, you see this space here. Oh, you can't. I can't. All right, so you see this here where it says State of Florida, County of Palm Beach. The foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me by means of physical presence or online notarization this blank day of blank 2021 by blank and blank. Those were the signers' names. Then it has a line for the notary to sign, print their name up under, choose what type of identification was produced, and then type in the type of identification. That right there is called your notarial block. Okay? If this was missing, we are not to just sign our names and stamp the document. You have to have your notary block present. And if it is missing, you must add it. You can either add it by typing it or writing it on there. You can stamp it if you have a certificate stamp, or you can add a loose leaf certificate. And I will show you what the loose leaf certificate looks like. Let me find the acknowledgement here. Okay, this. Okay, and you know, you might not be able to see that, but I have a copy in my library here too. Excuse me. Let me see. Good evening, good vibes only. How you doing? Thank you for this topic. Are your trainings on your website just for Florida notaries? So yes, but no. So I do offer the trainings, okay, through my courses, but my courses, I try to make them all general. Okay, so it's general information. I try not to make it state specific. But when I'm sharing documents with you on live, I can only share from the knowledge of Florida because I am a Florida notary. But general information means, applies to all notaries. That's what my courses offer that's on the Academy website. So I hope that answers your question. But every state requires that a notary does have some type of notary verbiage to say what took place. Okay, you authenticated this person's signature. How did they appear? Where were you when you notarized it? What was the dates that you notarized the document on? Did they show you ID? What type of ID? Every state requires that. Okay, like you have to let them know how you authenticated the person's signature that you are notarizing. Okay, okay, good. I'm glad. All right. So this is what we call, like I said, the notary verbiage, notary certificate, notary block, whatever you want to call it. But this is it. Okay. This has to be present. And let's just say it was present and it was missing some of the information that you require in your state. You have to add it. There have been plenty of times where I've gotten documents and the certificate was not complete. So I had to add it. For example, you have some certificates that won't tell how the person appeared before you. So I have to add it manually and put physical presence, or if it's online, I have to put online. Sometimes it won't have the person's name. So sometimes I'll have to add the name there. Um, Sometimes it won't have how I ID'd them, so I have to add that too. And the reason why is because in Florida, we have to have the 9 required elements that are present in the certificate. And all of the elements are present in the certificate. So we have to have the location. We have to know the type of notarization, how the person appeared before us, what day we notarized it, the person's name, the notary's signature, the notary's printed name, how the ID was, what type of ID was produced, and then number 9, your seal. And so all of our certificates have to have all of those different elements that I named off in order for the notarization to be valid. Okay? So this is why I know that this is valid. But for those of you who are in other states, you need to make sure you check your state statutes and see what is required. Many of the state statutes have actual samples of notary verbiage on there so that you will know what is required. Okay. But again, we are never to just stamp and sign a document. Just because it says notarization required or notary stamp required here doesn't mean that we just stamp it. You need to have this information there. Now, let me see if I can find a document that does not have the notary verbiage on it so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Um, I think this will be one. Let me see first. All right, this is one. And you will notice that some of the documents that I have in the library, I have notes on them. so that you will know what you're looking at and how to handle that. So in this document, it says form to be notarized with both parents' signature, right? But if in reviewing the document, you notice that there isn't any notary verbiage here. All right, so because there isn't any notary verbiage, am I just going to put my stamp here? No, I'm not. This document is missing a notary certificate. You ask the signer which one they want you to attach, and then you attach it. And because you're attaching a certificate, don't forget to put see attached certificate so that they know this document has another document attached to it. Okay? I'm trying to think. I think I have one more here where it says notary just sign here. And I think it's the toe. I'm trying to see. It's a release of toe or something like that. Let me see this one here. Here it is. This one here. You see where it says for notary use only? It just says for the notary to sign and print their name. And you fill out this information here. Executed this day of does not um, describe any type of notarization that I'm familiar with. Not even a signature witness that is allowed in some states, just not in Florida. So this here, I would have to attach a certificate to. They haven't left any room for me to stamp a certificate onto it, so I wouldn't be able to use this. Okay, so you would just line through this area here, put see attached certificate, ask the person what type of certificate they would like, what type of notarization they would like for you to perform, and you attach the chosen certificate to it and fill it out accordingly. So this is what I'm talking about. You have to know that much so that you're not just out here stamping and signing anything. Okay? There's nothing here that tells me that I can just sign this as is with me knowing my state statutes. All right? So that Florida notary who notarized the document before me, they clearly were not aware that they couldn't do that. Otherwise, they would not have just done that. All right? And I'm going to show y'all one more, and then I'm going to go on to my next topic. Self-employed letter needs to be notarized. Okay. And look here again. They they don't have any notary verbiage here for me. They just want me to sign my name, print my name, and put my stamp right here. No, I can't do that. I have to attach a certificate. I have to ask the signer what type of notarization they would like for me to perform, and then attach the certificate that they choose. And again, you don't have any room here to stamp a certificate onto there, so you're going to have to attach a loose leaf. Okay? Does everybody understand what I'm saying now about the notary verbiage, how it needs to be present? We saw what it looked like on the warranty deed. That is your notary certificate. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, perfect. All right, let's go on to my next topic. Notary journals. That's always a fun one because you have so many people who they are not aware of the different state requirements, and so they try to impose their own state requirements onto everybody. And you have to understand that every state is different. Some states do require a notary to keep a journal. California is one of them. California also requires a thumbprint in that journal. You have some states where they want you to keep a journal, but they don't want you to put any personal information that could identify the signer. Okay, so Texas will be one. They don't want the ID information in there. They don't want no thumbprint or nothing, no address or nothing. I don't think. I think you can just put the name, the ID that they showed you, just the type, like, okay, this is person name. They showed me their driver's license, the date, the document notarized, and so forth. But they do not want any personal identifying information in the notary's journal at all. Okay, so this is why you need to know your state statutes yourself. You need to read them. Yes, I know it's very wordy, it's a lot of information, but it's not any different than any job that you've held. When you start a job, they train you and you have to read their SOP, okay? Their standard operating procedure. Everybody familiar with that? You got a whole lot of crap that you got to read before you can start doing the job. You got to do all these little trainings that they make you do, and some of them you got to do annually, quarterly. It's very tiring, but it's no different than you reading your state statutes. Okay, you need to be very familiar. You should know your state statutes like the back of your hand. You should be able to recite anything from your state statute that you are allowed or not allowed to do as a notary in your state. And if you cannot do that, that means that you need to go and read it. Now, you can either go to your state website if it's listed there, or some states they have where you can print out a PDF and then you can go over that. Some states do have their own notary primer, which is the National Notary Association. They offer to you for sale. Okay. I've showed you guys, I have my notary primer. It is in my bag at all times because there's so much information in there I can forget. I know the majority of my state statutes, but there are some things that I need to go back and fact check. So I have the book on me at all times. And this is something that you need to do so that you're not out here just signing and sealing documents willy-nilly and you're not making them compliant. Okay? All right, good, good, good. And yes, good vibes only. All right, so notary journals. Okay, if your state does not require one, I still recommend that you keep one. And if you do keep one, make sure that you have your notary acts that you perform in chronological order. Make sure that any information that you can record, that you are recording it. It is not against the law in some states for you to ask for a thumbprint in your journal. Texas, you cannot do that. Okay, so let's not have anybody in Texas getting on here. Well, I'm in Texas. I know. I know. I've trained notaries in several different states, so I do happen to know some of their laws. Okay, so you don't have to come up here biting my head off. But there are some states that don't require the thumbprint, but it's not against the law, for you to ask. Like in Florida, we are not required to keep a journal and we're not required to have a thumbprint in our journal. But if we do decide that we're going to keep a journal, they have the different elements that are required to be in a journal. Isn't that funny? We don't have to keep one, but if you keep one, this must be in it. So just say that we got to have one. Goofy. But yeah, so know that about your state, okay, guys? And learn to take notes. There are some notarizations that you're going to have where there are going to be things that happen that weren't supposed to, that you didn't plan to happen, and you want to make sure you take note of it. Okay. For example, sometimes I'll get to the table and the settlement statement will change, or the settlement statement is still in draft mode, but they want the signers to sign it. Sometimes the signers will stop and say, hey, I don't think I want to sign that because these numbers don't reflect what we agreed upon. And that is um, their right to do that. So they'll call title company, lender representative, whoever, and they'll put them on speakerphone to speak to me because obviously I need to know what the decision is so that I can put it, make a note of it. Yeah, it's okay for them not to sign. We're going to give them a final copy after. It's okay if they don't sign it. Writing that in my notes because I don't want anything to come back saying, hey, this notary forgot to get the alta signed and we know it didn't need to be notarized, but we needed this to be signed. Now we can't close. Now we got to send an e-sign. Yeah, now we got to do an e-sign and it's past the time or date or whatever. And I'm not going to be put on the line for that. So I need to know who you talking to, where they from, what their title is, and what they said you don't have to do. So that I can reference my journal entry and say, hey, we were on speakerphone with so and so, title so and so from company so and so, and they said verbatim that these signers did not have to sign this copy of the alta. And that's it. Okay. Your journal is the document or the record that you need to cover your ass. All right. And sorry for the verbiage, but you got to cover yourself. Okay. And your journal helps you do that because let's just say they come back to you a week later, 2 weeks, a month, a year, whatever. Are you going to be able to recount what happened? Are you even going to remember that signer? For the most part, I do so many signings and I meet so many people. I'm not really good with names. I may notice your face. If you kind of describe what happened in location and maybe your house and stuff like that, or where we met, I may remember, but I'm not going to remember everything that happened. So, this is why you need to keep a journal. All right. So, everybody, even if your state does not require you to keep a notary journal, please keep a notary journal. And piggybacking off of that, I did release my new notary journal. I had a notary journal that I released last year, and I released another one this year. So it's on Amazon if you guys want to check it out. I think you can just type in my name and a bunch of my books will come up. Okay. But if you are a paper person, it's a paper journal. I use an electronic journal because I don't like to write. But for those of you who prefer to write, it's there. All right. Anybody have questions about journals? So we can go into our next topic. All right, cool. Next, understanding notary instructions. When you get asked to do a notary appointment, either by a client or the signer themselves, you want to, oh, Good Vibes only has a question. All right, what question do you have for me? I thought I closed that door. Oh, thank you. I thought my cat pushed the door open. My daughter was bringing in my head wrap for my hair. All right, Good Vibes only has a question, guys, so I'm just waiting for the question to pop up. Do you keep copies of your remote sessions on your computer? I do not. Good Vibes only. I do not need to because those sessions are stored on the online notary platform. Now, unfortunately, if you guys were using eNotaryLog, they closed up shop and they have a lot of my recordings. I was not able to export those, but I'm hoping that there is some way that I can access them. They have not reached out to me to let me know, but no, I do not keep copies of my remote sessions because that would just take up way too much space. Some of those sessions can be 7 minutes to, I had one where it was an hour and a half because I had 4 signers and it was just, yeah. So I do not have the capacity to save those on my computer. And if I did save them on my drive, I will be paying for a whole lot of storage. So no, that is the platform's job to keep copies of those sessions and to make them accessible to the notary who performed those sessions. That answer your question? Okay, so I'm waiting for her to answer. It's probably a lag. Oh, does the platform turn it into the state? I am not sure, but every state does have their own guidelines for how those platforms have to handle those recordings. So I'm sure in the state statutes it would, tell me. I just need to go back and reference it. It would tell me what they have to do with it, and they do have to meet those requirements in order for them to, remain compliant with them being an online platform. Okay. So notary instructions, guys. It is super important that you guys pay attention to these notary instructions because they are so that you don't make any errors or omissions in the documents. You're welcome, good vibes only. So whether you are working with a signing service, working with an attorney, work with the signers themselves, always ask or look for instructions. Okay, there are signers who will reach out to me and they'll be sent a file to their email. Excuse me. Within the file will be some instructions for the notary. I always like to look at them. I never want to assume that this is how the document is supposed to be filled out if there are indeed instructions included. Okay, the instructions are super important and you should reference them every time that you have them available to do so, especially with signing services. It's a big pet peeve because the signing services, they put in a lot of time and effort to make sure that the notaries that they hire to assist with their clients' request is going to be done the way that the clients want them to be done. So if you just getting the signings and you're not reading the instructions, it's just a slap in the face, really it is, okay? So we want to make sure that we're reading. I don't care how many times you've done a signing for a signing service. Sometimes they'll put something specific in there and they'll highlight it and you will miss it. And I'm guilty of that. I have done that before too, but it is really difficult when I'm jumping to another appointment or going to service another client and I miss those instructions. They wanted me to do one thing that they don't normally ask me to do. And now I can't do it right away because I'm on my way to another appointment. So now they got to wait. And that's no good for anyone. So please make it a habit to read the notary instructions if they are provided because there's a reason. There's a reason why they have the notary instructions. It's not to tell you how to do your job. It's how they want their documents to be handled, and they want to make sure that they're going to be done the way they want them to be done. And it's just easiest for them, instead of them calling you, to put some instructions there so that you will know what needs to be done and you can deliver on it. Okay? Anybody have any questions about instructions? Notary instructions. And you will get different instructions like I'll for one signing service, excuse me, there's a bank who does not want any of their documents to be filled out or signed in blue ink. They want black ink. And that's very rare, but this is something that they want. So if I'm automatically programmed to do blue ink for everything and now they want black ink, you don't think I'm gonna miss that if I don't read the instructions? I am. I also have one signing service because I have been programmed to provide copies of ID with every order. I have a signing service who client strictly prohibits the copy of the ID to be with the order. And if you do make a copy and provide it with the order, your pay will be decreased. So you may want to pay attention to them not wanting the ID and them wanting black ink and so forth. Okay. Some of them don't want you to print out two copies. They just want one copy. So this is just super important. Some of them want you to mail the documents to one place and then another place and not all together. Some of them want you to split the documents up and mail them here and then mail the rest here. I had one time where I had to do 3 different mailings for one package. They were going to 3 different places and I had to separate the documents the way that they had them in the instructions. So this is why it's super important that you guys are paying attention. All right, let's see what Michael is saying. Native. Um, what does that mean, Michael? And then what would you do? This is Ronnie. What would you do if you have instructions in the email that says print 2 copies? Then when you print the package and the top copy says print 2 copies. Wait, I don't understand that, Ronnie. What would you do if you have instructions in the email that says print 2 copies? Then when you print the package, then the top copy says print 2 copies. Oh, 3. Oh, Michael said he has no question. So I will follow the instructions And if you have any question, I would just email them and say, hey, a little confused here. In your instructions, it says 2 copies. And then when I printed out the documents, this top page says 3 copies. So do we want 2 copies or do we want 3 copies? And they actually appreciate you calling to ask because they want you to get this done just like you want to get this done correctly. So never, guys, be afraid to call and ask questions. I had a title rep. I had to call her 3 times. And she stopped me and said, you know what? I appreciate you calling me because I have so many notaries who won't even call. And then I get the documents and then something's wrong. And all they had to do was dial me. And I said, no, because I don't feel like having to go back and re-sign nothing. And then we had a nice little laugh, and then she answered my question, and then I got off the phone. So, guys, please don't be scared to call them and ask all the questions you need to beforehand. If anything, they appreciate that you're even being able to review the documents. Some notaries don't review the documents before they go to the signing. They just print them out, put them in an envelope, and go. I love being able to review them. So I like when they do give me the documents right before the signing so I can review them. Sometimes I don't get the opportunity to, but you know what I do? I review them at the table. I review them at the table. And the only reason why I'm able to do that is because I have a printer in my trunk. So if anything needs to be reprinted, I can go out there and do it. But if I didn't have a printer in my trunk, it would be really kind of difficult for me to be reviewing documents right at the table and something's wrong. Oh God, it was a headache in the past. I have this a lot on my FA. Yeah, on loan mods you do because for some banks they want 2 executed copies and then they want you to leave a copy with the signer. And then for another bank, they only want you to print 2 copies and they want 1 executed copy and 1 with the signer. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're welcome. All right. Anybody have questions about notary instructions? Hi, Jay. Happy Sunday. Anybody have questions about notary instructions? I got to pull my library back up because I'm going to talk to you guys about notary workflows. Let's see if I can find where I put it at. Oh, here it is. I think it's here. Yes, it is. Let me open this up, blow it up a little bit. Okay. All right, perfect. No questions about notary instructions. All right, so now I want to talk to you guys about notary workflow and being efficient. Okay. So when you are reached out to for notary work, you want to have a streamline process of how you take your call, of how you gather your information, of how you prepare your customer or client. Okay. So I think I created this diagram year before last. So 24, I think 2023. I'm going to share my screen. This is in my library. So if you have access to the library, you could just print it out. All right. So this is my notary work diagram so that you can have an efficient process when you get phone calls or get emails. Okay. Now, if you're going to do mobile work, you're going to follow the workflow on the left here. If you're going to be doing online, you're going to follow the workflow on the right. Okay. And this is just for you to gather all the information you need from the customer so that you're prepared for the appointment. I can't tell you how many times I've been doing this since 2020, and I didn't create this workflow until 2023. So every phone call sounded different, and it was mad annoying for me because I'm that type of person where I like to be organized. So I was trying to figure out how can I make this more streamlined. Like I need for it to be a needle and a thread going in a straight line, and I don't need to be all over the place, right? So the customer gives me a call. I introduce myself, ask them how can I help them, and hey, I need to get a document notarized. All right, what are you notarizing today? I'm notarizing this. All right, how many documents do you have that you see requires me to sign it? I think I saw 2 spots for a notary. I'm not really sure. Okay, do you know if you need any witnesses for your document? Okay, now sometimes After they tell you the name of the document, you automatically know witnesses are required. If they're telling me that it's a deed, if they're telling me it's a power of attorney, estate planning documents, and so forth. Some prenups need them. Um, what's another document that require witnesses? Hmm, can't think of it. I'm sure it'll come to me later, but I automatically know just from them telling me. But for those of you who are not already familiar with the different documents that require witnesses, ask that question because you don't want to get all the way there and you see that you need witnesses. I will tell you guys a story and then I'm going to get back to the diagram. I was called to go to an assisted living apartment complex. And the customer called me, said they need a document notarized. And I think it was a bank withdrawal form. Like they were withdrawing a lump sum of money and they needed to prove that they were the person or whatever. So automatically, I don't know if it needs to be witnessed, but you know what's so funny is whenever I get a call from a senior living or assisted living place, their documents always need dang on witnesses, and they never have ID that's valid. So, and I've learned this now because I've been doing this for some time, but before I was like, no, I don't know that off the bat. So I'm just excited to get a call, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, it's an assisted living place. I can go, I can leave my cards at the front desk because I'm actually there to see one of their residents and whatever. So I get there and well, I asked him the questions, what he's notarizing, and is he the only one signing? I did say that. And where am I meeting him? And this is the cost. Do you agree? Yes, I'm fine with that. What time do you want me to come? All right, I get there. The man's ID is expired and he needs two witnesses. I can't be one of them. So I'm there. I should have been there for 15 minutes. Okay. A typical notarization guide should not take you more than 15 minutes to complete. But I get there and I'm there for about 45 minutes because we walking around. Um, um, we're walking around. I'm following him in his wheelchair. Wait, was he in a wheelchair or a walker? I think he was in one of those walkers that had a chair. Anyway, we're walking around. He's asking his neighbors because he's new there, so he doesn't know everyone. And so we're walking around. Okay, the first floor, it's some type of meal time. Okay, I forget what time of the day it was, but it's meal time. So people are in the dining area, they're eating, they're chit-chatting and talking. So he had to find somebody. Now, not only did I need witnesses, but I needed credible witnesses to identify him. So a person who worked there, he was like, we can't be witnesses. I said, so there's a difference here. You're not going to witness his documents saying that you have, um, because you, so if it's a document, especially a bank document, anybody working at the facility, they can't be a witness because they have financial interests, okay, period, with the resident. But he can identify him. I said, you can be a credible witness saying that you know that he is the person he says he is, and that you also know that he is unable to obtain a identification card at this time because of his current circumstance. And so the guy agreed, like, oh, I can do that. It was him and then another resident who attested to his identity. So we did the credible witness affidavit. Okay. And then we ended up using that same resident to witness the document and then another resident. It took me 45 minutes and I was so mad. And it was just a $30 job because I charged him $20 for travel and $10. It was just one stamp. When I tell y'all, I was kicking myself in the butt the whole time. So this is why this diagram exists, because you need to make sure you ask all the questions so you can prepare. If I had asked all the questions that I have on here, right? Asking him, will all signers be present? And look, everyone had valid ID. If he would have told me, I have an ID, but it's expired, I would have told him you need to have credible witnesses. And then if you have witnesses that need to be on the document, you need to have them ready. So that time when I got there, everybody would have been there already. And it still would have took me maybe 15, 20 minutes because I wouldn't have been walking around following him trying to find people. Okay, so this is why this exists. Okay, if you have access to the library, you should be able to print this out. I think I also put a copy in my Facebook support group. Okay, and I think I put that in there before I even created a library, and I didn't remove it. So that means that you're able to get that document from the support group if you're a part of it. Okay, and I think that you should print it out and you should put it somewhere where you're always going to be taking calls. Okay, like for me, I have a cork board sitting here, so I have some important stuff here. For example, I have my index card that shows me my 9 required elements for Florida certificates, just in case I've, because I have days, some days I'll do 6 appointments back to back, and you know, your mind turns into mush after a while. So what I'll do is I'll be counting the elements, and I'm like, dang, it's one missing. I don't remember what one. I can look up in my cork board and say, oh, that's the one missing. Okay, so keep it somewhere where you can reference it when you need it, somewhere where you're working, taking calls, etc. Okay, anybody have any questions about this notary workflow? Okay, I'm going to close this out. All right, next we're going to be talking about communication with clients and customers. This is super important, and this I can't stress enough. You guys, the people who are hiring you to do the work, whether it's the clients, a signing service, or the signer, you need to let them know what's going on, okay, in a timely manner. If you, you're welcome, good vibes only, and thank you. I was just looking at it to see if I need to make any updates, but I don't need to make any updates, so that's good. It still applies today, even being done in 2023 or 22. I forget when I did it, but yeah. All right, so communication, whether it be by email, phone call, or text message, is important. And you guys need to make sure that you are doing this, okay? When you have an appointment scheduled, if anything changes, you need to let them know right then and there. I also tell my customers when I call them and we make the appointment, I let them know if anything changes in your schedule to where we cannot meet at this time, please let me know as soon as you know that the change has occurred. This way, I can accommodate you with a different time and I can make sure that I'm not going to be late for any of my other appointments that I have scheduled. They actually appreciate that. Okay. If anything changes and the signing service doesn't know or the attorney doesn't know, I need to um, communicate for the customer to them because sometimes the customer won't call them and tell them anything. And then here you are knowing all the information. They don't know nothing. They hate that. So make sure you make the call, okay? Or you can tell them, thank you for calling to let me know. Make sure you call them. And a lot of times they'll say, who is them? They don't know. You don't know who they've been talking to, right? So, especially for older people. So, do them a favor, give them a call as soon as you know the information of the change. Update them. And they're going to ask you, well, why did this change occur? You could tell them the customer said XYZ. Or you could also say, if the customer didn't want to tell you, they were just like, I got to change the time. I can't really tell you why, but we got to change it. Just tell the customer they didn't want to disclose the information to me. They just said that they weren't going to be available at that time anymore. You can reach out to them. Here's their phone number if they don't have it. And I know you're like, well, don't they just have their phone number? You'd be surprised. People they work with so many different people, and everybody has a little bit of say in the transaction. And so sometimes everybody's not on the same page, and it's just a human error thing, so it helps for you since you're the face that they see, the person that they talk to, the person that they now feel comfortable with and trust. Just, relay the message. Not a big deal and move on. Okay. I see notaries all the time. They get mad about that. But you have to understand that when you're working with human beings, things are not going to always be cut and dry. All right. It's not going to be straightforward all the time. So you just got to rock with it. All right. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And I know what you're saying. Well, they shouldn't make mistakes at all. That's not real. Realistically speaking, that's just not real. So you got to be able to swerve and dodge and dip and move, okay, when they do, okay? Or you could just tell them you ain't gonna do it and they'll find somebody else, okay? But for the most part, changes happen. I get used to it. I've been doing it for a minute. I've been handling these type of situations. So you just gotta rock with it. All right. When I'm on my way, I like to let the customers know. And I'll ask them when I first reach out to them, is it okay if I send you a text message to let you know I'm on my way? You need to ask that because you have some seniors who don't do texting. Okay. Or maybe they had you call them on their work phone and you can't text it. So they'll tell you yes or no. No, I prefer you give me a call, please. Or, no, excuse me, or email me. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if I'm driving to and fro, I'm not going to be able to send an email. So I'll just give them a call, let them know, hey, just let you know I'm on my way. My ETA is, etc. They'll say, okay, thank you so much for letting me know that. So, because I was going to go to the store, but now that I see you're so many minutes away, I'll just wait. Okay. It makes a big difference. It really does because sometimes I think they have more time than they actually do. So if you call and let them know you're on your way or send them a text, they'll know they don't have that extra time. I'll just wait till the notary leaves to go to the store. Because yes, I have arrived at people's home and they're not there. Oh, I thought I had more time. I stepped out to go do XYZ. I'll be back in 15 minutes. 15 minutes, like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry. So do yourself a favor. Call them when you know you're on your way. Okay. Anybody have questions about that? Oh, you know what? I have another one here. Managing difficult situations or uncooperative signers. Not your fault if they don't want to sign. Things do happen. People will say one thing and then the signers will see something else. They get confused. They don't understand. You could always have them call the person. And if, like I said before, if they don't know who they've been talking to this whole time, or they don't have that contact information, call the signing service or the client themselves. Okay, if you're not working with a signing service, you're working with an attorney, you're working with a real estate agent, call the real estate agent they've been working with. They can get them in touch with whomever it is they need to get in touch with. But you are in no way to say, well, just go ahead and sign everything and, you know, I'm going to send this off. And if they tell you something different, they can send somebody else or whatever. Don't ever do that. Okay? Because, like I always said before, I've said it several times, a signer will throw you up under the bus. They could have been the nicest, sweetest person, but they're going to throw you up under the bus if anything happened with their money. Okay? Anything happened with their money, they can't get their money, they can't get their house, throwing you under the bus. You told me that I can just sign and now this ain't going right. No. Stop the signing. Call whoever you got to call. We can continue signing after you get your question answered. Sometimes you will have the signers who will say, I'll sign everything else but this. So what I'll do is I'll continue to let them sign everything and then I'll let them call and ask a question about that one document. Okay. Most times, if it's a document that doesn't require notarization, they can make the necessary changes and just send them an e-sign email. And you don't need to be present for that. Sometimes if the document does need to be notarized, then you need to wait because then they got to pay another notary to come out, you know. And yeah, it kind of sucks, especially if you have another appointment scheduled. But you need to make sure that you at no time are forcing people to sign documents because you want to get paid or because you got to hurry up and get to another appointment. If you see you're going to be running late, just call your signer, your next customer, and let them know. And if they say, we're not going to be able to do it, you can call the signing service or you can call the client. They'll totally understand. I got another appointment, it's running over, something happened, and I'm not going to be able to make it at this time. Okay? Things happen, and it doesn't happen that often to where you're going to see a regular occurrence of it. So don't worry. But things do happen. Remember, we're working with humans, and I don't know about y'all, but when I work with humans, things don't always go as planned. Okay? So that's it for the communication. Anybody have questions about that? Let me get a squid because my mouth is getting dry. Oh, that water is so good. All right. Next, we're going to talk about notary equipment and supplies. Thank you, Ronnie. I really try to help y'all and give y'all the information. All right, let's talk about notary equipment and supplies, guys. I feel like we shouldn't even have to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it because it's one of my talking points, okay? When you are preparing for the day, not only do you need to make sure you have all of your documents together, or if you're doing online, make sure all of your sessions are together. You want to make sure that the equipment that you need and supplies that you need are good. Now, for example, I have my laptop on me and I have an iPad on me that I use for my electronic journal. I need to make sure those are charged up. Like when I get off of here, I have appointments tomorrow. So I'm going to make sure that I plug those things up so they're charged and ready to go for tomorrow. I have a printer in my car with a inverter. I need to make sure that my battery is charged that powers my inverter for the printer to work. Okay? Because it will suck to get to your destination and your electronics are dead or about to be dead. Okay? Make sure that all your ink pens work. Make sure you have black and blue. Why do I say make sure that you got pens? Because sometimes when you go to appointments, especially if you have had a busy week, sometimes your customers don't give you your pens back. So you got to make sure you got pens in your bag. This has happened to me before where I I had a few appointments for the day and I had a couple of appointments where I forgot to get my pens back. And I don't know why. These are the very first pens that I had when I first started. And customers keep them. And they're just a regular looking pen. It's nothing fancy about this pen, but they end up keeping them. Like, I like this pen. You mind if I keep it? And I'll say, yeah, not remembering. I only put 6 pens in my bag. I have 6 blue pens and 6 black pens. No, so I kind of need that pen back. But so just make sure you got your pens, you got your paper clips, you have loose leaf certificates. All of these things get depleted as you use them. So you want to make sure that you're looking in your bag and you're re-upping on everything. Okay. Make sure all your electronics are charged. I have a portable battery. I have my taser. All of those things need to be charged. So I make sure I charge them every week. These pens are regular. These are not any type of fancy pen. I got these from Vistaprint. They are so not fancy, but yeah, I don't know why people want to keep them. So yeah, make sure that you have all of that stuff charged up. Make sure you got all your supplies, guys. All right. And I know you're like, well, that's a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. Anybody have questions about that? Want to make sure you got the loose lease certificates, business cards, everything that you deplete. Make sure you um, what is it? Restock. Make sure you restock your bag with these things. Next, I saved the best for last because I wanted to see how many people were going to stay. All right, so we're going to be talking about signing services, okay? The ones that you want to work for and the ones that you want to avoid working for. Drum roll. So, there have been quite a few notaries who have been complaining about not getting paid for the work they're doing for these signing services. And I will tell you, even I get scared when I see some of these signing service notifications come through on my email, my phone, I'm literally scared to work with new signing services because I just don't know. And I don't want to hound you for my money. I just want to do the work and I want you to pay me for my work and I want to keep it moving. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can avoid working for signing services that are not going to pay you. Okay. And I've talked to you guys about this before, but I'm going to repeat it again because it's the new year. Okay. So you need to research these signing services, and you have 3 places you can look. All right, is it 3 places? Yes. All right. There are 2 Facebook groups, okay, that you have to join, and you have to be a notary to join. They don't play. And you can't be a signing service owner either. So if you're watching me and you own a signing service, you can't join the group. I'm sorry. All right. So I'm going to share the name of the Facebook group with you guys, and I want you all to join. Okay. So here it is. The Facebook group is called Deadbeat. Uh-oh. I cut it off. Hold on. Can I edit this? I can't. Okay. Let me. Oh, wait. I can't edit it. Okay. I'm going to delete the comment. I left off some of the word. Okay. The Facebook group is called Deadbeat Signing Companies. All right. Here you go. Deadbeat Signing Companies and Deadbeat Signing Companies 2. Hold on. Let me look at my phone. It's 2 groups on Facebook. Let me find it. Where where is it? All right, Deadbeat Signing Companies is the one. And then Deadbeat Signing Companies 2.0. Yes, girl, Deadbeat. That's what they call it. And the other one is called Deadbeat Signing Companies 2.0. I want you guys to join both of them. And all you have to do is type into the search at the top of the screen, type in the company that you got the notification for, and you will see people commenting about it. Okay, and then you can see whether or not that's a company that is considered a deadbeat so that you don't work for them. You want to avoid them. I've also been seeing floating around that you can block notifications from certain companies on signing order. Now, I have never done this before, so I don't know how it's done. But if I get any notifications from a company that I don't want to get notifications from anymore, I'm going to see how to do it. And then, of course, I'll share it with you guys. You're welcome. Good vibes only. Next, Notary Rotary. I have shared this with you guys time and time again. NotaryRotary.com. It is free for you to create an account, and I'm going to show you where to go so you can find the signing service list. So on notaryrotary.com, they have a current list of all the signing service companies, okay, that you want to sign up for. But they also have star ratings near each one. All right. So let me share my screen and let's go and see what it looks like so that you know where to find the signing service list. All right. So I'm going to type in here Notary Rotary. Okay. This is it here, notaryrotary.com. And I'm going to log in. Okay. You can click join and it's free. Just create a free account. But I'm going to log in here. My login information is already pre-filled. I'm going to click login. And you're going to go here to Signing Central. And you're going to click here, Signing Service Listing. All right. So everybody saw that. Log in. Click login. Go to Signing Central. Okay. If you're on a cell phone, it'll probably look different. I'm on a desktop. Go to Signing Central and then click on Signing Service Listing. And you see here all of these star ratings. Okay. Now the thing is you want to work with any company with 4 or 5 stars. You can do 3. I do work with some that have 3 stars, but you have some who are no longer in business, as you can see here. 123 Stamp It LLC is unavailable. All right. Some of these have 4 stars. This one has 2 stars. They're currently out of business. This one has 1 star. I'm going to type in the one that I've been seeing a lot of people talking about. Even one of my friends sent me this one. So it's called Cloud Signings. They have a 1.5 star, which means that we don't want to work with them. All right. The rating is right here. If you go to the Facebook group, I can't go to the Facebook group because they said that if you share anything from that group, like that's inside the group, they will terminate your membership with the group. And I don't want to get my membership terminated. But if you go to the Facebook group in the little search magnifying glass, click it, type in the name of the company that you have questions about, and you will see the different posts come up about them. And then you can just read the post and just make your own judgment on that. But Cloud Signings right here has 1.5 stars. So you don't want to put yourself at risk for working with it. All right. So I'm going to clear this and refresh. Does anybody have a signing service they would like for me to look up? Yes, Jay. Yeah, Ronnie said they are the talk of the USA, the whole USA, Ronnie. Sheesh. Yeah, my friend did a signing. She actually just reached out to me and said she finally got paid by them, but I'm sure she won't be working with them anymore. Let me see. Yeah, so she did 3 signings for them. So yeah, you don't want to. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna respond back to her. All right, so I gave you guys 3 places where you can find signing companies that you don't want to work for and signing companies you do want to work for. So Notary Rotary, just go through this list. It's a bunch. It is a bunch. Let me scroll through. You see that? It's a bunch. Okay, but you have quite a bit of 4 stars, which means that there's plenty of people to work for. Look at that. All right. So we got a lot. All right. ZXC is a 4 star. I do work for them as well. Okay. So if I were you, I would just stick to any signing service that's listed here. Because if a company can take out the time to list themselves on the signing service list directory, then I think there's some legitimacy there. Now, that doesn't speak to whether or not they're going to pay you. It just means that they are a legitimate signing service. It doesn't mean, unfortunately, if they don't want to pay, they're not going to, which sucks, but hopefully what you guys see in these ratings on here, you will be able to make the best decision of whether or not you're going to work for any of the companies that you get notifications for. Okay, so go on here, create your free listing so that you can get this list here. All right, and not get the list, but get access to it. And then don't forget to join both of those Facebook groups. Make sure you answer all the questions or you will not get allowed access to join or be admitted in. And make sure that you are keeping a list of the signing services that you don't want to work with so that when they come up, you don't have to worry about it. All right. Let's see if that was the last of it. Yeah, that was the last of it. And don't forget, guys, just because you signed up with the signing service does not mean that they get a notification saying that you signed up with them. You have to personally reach out to them. And I've told you guys this before. You sign up with all the signing services. Many of them use Signing Order or SnapDocs. Blue Notary is not a signing service. They're just an online notary platform, Michael. So yeah, I don't think they would be on there. But I'll look and see. Yeah, no, they're not on there because they're not a signing service. They're just an online notary platform. And sometimes they'll reach out to notaries who are subscribed with them to service their clients. But other than that, they're not a signing service. So they're not going to be calling you or emailing you or nothing like that. Unless you're subscribed on their platform. And to be subscribed, you have to be paying them monthly. Okay. You're welcome, Jay. So don't forget, guys, sign up with the Facebook group. I'm going to share it again. Deadbeat Signing Companies and Deadbeat Signing Companies 2.0 on Facebook. Okay, join that. And then you're welcome, Ronnie. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see you again on next Sunday. Sign up for those two Facebook groups and sign up for your free account on notaryrotary.com. This way, you're not just searching, you know what I'm saying, and getting lost trying to figure out who to work with, who not to work with. I gave y'all all the resources you need. You don't even need to do all that. Go right to those three places. You got the Deadbeat Facebook group of places you don't want to work with, and then you got Notary Rotary with the ratings telling you who you want to work with, who you don't want to work with. Okay? So I hope that this has been helpful. I know that it was a lot. I usually don't do that much of a that much information in one live, but there was so much that I want to talk to you guys about. So I hope that all of that information helped. Don't forget, if you think other people will find this information helpful, share my videos, y'all. Ain't nobody sharing my videos. You know, if you found the information to be helpful, please share. Okay. If you want to get some free information on building your skills, check out my academy. If you're interested in any other information that's on the academy website, go on there, take advantage of it. Much of that information I share is free. So a lot of it that's free. And here is my academy site here. All right, here's Denise. Let me see. So if I have a closing appointment scheduled, call sign should I cancel? I'm not going to tell you to do that. I'm not going to tell you to do that, Denise. But join the Facebook group so that you can see what people are saying. So my friend just told me that someone on Facebook said the accounting is done on weekends and to send an email on the weekends only. She sent an email yesterday and got her check today. Okay, so follow that advice. Okay, and maybe, hi Stephanie, maybe you won't have that much of a hassle after you do the appointment. But maybe in the future, if you decide you don't want to work with them, that may not be a bad idea. But if you already got an appointment scheduled with them, I would do it because everybody has a different experience. You know what I'm saying? I I try to give people the benefit of the doubt until they show me that it's not worth it. Okay, so you may have a different experience. Now that you know this information, though, moving forward, they do account on the weekend. If they don't pay you, within the 30 days or 45 days, whatever their term is, reach out to them on the weekend so you can get your check. Okay? Exactly. That too. Stephanie says follow through with the appointment because it's not the client's fault. And yes, Denise, yes, getting the experience is important. You definitely want to make sure you get paid though. All right. So reach out to them on the weekend. Stephanie is the one I was referencing. That's my friend who says she reached out yesterday and got paid today, guys. So absolutely. You're welcome, Denise. All right, guys. So I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I hope that all of the information that I shared with you is valuable and that you found it to be helpful. If you think any other notary needs this information, please share the video. Um, yep, and Stephanie is right. This is why you need to make sure your accounting system is on point because if you have reminders telling you about payments that are overdue, like in my accounting, they turn red. If anything is past due, it turns red. So, see, Stephanie, see, when y'all listen to me, it works. I'm telling you. All right, guys. Well, I am gonna go, and I will see you guys again next Sunday. Everybody have a wonderful week, and don't forget, I'll be on 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You're welcome, Jay. Bye, everyone. You're welcome, Pam. You're welcome, Denise. And Michael, if you're still there, see you next week. Bye, Stephanie. Bye, Ronnie. Bye, Good Vibes Only. Bye, Jay. Bye, Pam. And bye, Denise.